expressed that they would encourage you to expand the basis of the treaty from plurilateral to multilateral, allowing more freedom for the individual signing countries to leave out certain implementations of the ACTA agreement. Will you try to widen the base from plurilateral to multilateral? And the other question is, how many consumer advocacy groups or groups working on digital civic rights and privacy are currently partaking in the negotiations on ACTA?
Well, thank you for these two questions. The first question, will we try to have multilateral basis? Of course. I mean, the idea is that as many countries as possible would be good, because so we cannot force, of course, countries to join. So, by definition, it's on a volunteer basis. As to your second question, consumer groups participating, well, there is no private group participating in negotiation. It's handled by governments, but there's also no private industry groups. And industry groups has no more information, I'm talking of course from a European Commission point of view, than any consumer group. And the very reason is that we organize stakeholders meeting like this where we invite both, all stakeholders. So there is a strict equal treatment there. Thank you. Other question? We have 15 minutes left. But we can finish earlier, of course. Yes, Madam in green.
Yeah, thank you again, Eva Lichtenberger from the Legal Committee in the European Parliament. We have a very intense debate right now about penal sanctions and about the intervenience of European law in penal law on member states level. But enforcement mechanisms, as we will have also some obligations then in coming from ACTA, if it would be finished, then have to be done by the member states. So how will you run this process? And what is your mandate on that? Because this is very unclear. What will be the role, for example, for the legislation on European level and the enforcement mechanisms that you will member states ask to take?
Thank you for these two questions. First, on the negotiating guidelines, very clear. It's the presidency who negotiates on behalf of the member states, the rotating presidency, not the Commission. So it's not for me to answer further on that. The only thing I can comment, though, to your second question on the enforcement mechanism is that if you follow the point of view, the principle that nothing will change to the legislation because we follow the EU acquis, it's an irrelevant issue because there will be no need for new legislation in Europe. Thank you. Sir, yes?
Yes, thank you. I would like you to explain the institutional arrangements, the executive board that will be created, the flexible incorporation of new elements, how the, let's say I would call the Politburo of the ACTA agreement is going to work, and how it will go into the future, and how this will affect relationships in global governance between this executive board of ACTA with the WTO, the United Nations, WIPO, and those organizations. And as well, I would like to know the relationship between if the countries that decide not to apply the agreements of ACTA will be placed upon the European Union's name and shame priority list for IPR non-cooperation.
Thank you. I'm not sure the last one. Is it a question or is it a statement?
It is a question.
Well, then the answer is no. First of all, we have no name and shame list. And secondly, of course, we would not put a country who doesn't sign up to an agreement as simply as to use your words, name and shame. I mean, this is not how we operate. The list of priority countries for infringing IP rights, which we do publish, is based on custom statistics of seizures of counterfeits. I mean, I don't think this is very much disputable. And it is also based on either legislative deficiencies or serious enforcement deficiencies, which is also hardly disputable. And last but not least, we also consider the willing of the country to address it according to its level of development. I mean, it is not one size fits it all. We clearly know that not all countries can afford the same level of enforcement, although not having laws enforced is hardly something which helps a country. Usually it's the other way around. As to your question, I mean, I leave you the copyright also on the word Politburo. I suppose you refer to the committee which is referred in the ACTA. I mean, clearly you have members willing to have a light structure, some others willing something a bit more structured, if you want. We haven't reached the discussions there, and this is not something we've decided. Clearly, from our point of view, an agreement that needs to be enforced always benefits from a dispute settlement. So to go back to the previous question, if it had been multilateralized in WTO, that would be certainly something useful. But we are very far from being there yet. So I think we'll perhaps we'll come back to that when we have reached progress. Thank you. We can take one or two more questions. Yes, madam.
My name is Margaret Verhulst from Internet Service Provider Access for All from Holland. It's good to hear that that the 3 strikes and the ISP liability are not the idea of the EU principles, but it are negotiations. So my question is, you win some, you lose some. So my question is it hard? Because you can say like 3 strikes is not our idea of it, but maybe other parties.
No, I can be as clear as can be. 3 strike is no one's idea. No one has ever proposed that. It's as simple as that. Right, if we have no more questions, I would like to thank you all for coming here and giving us your thoughts, which we certainly take on board for the next round of negotiations and possibly the ones after as well. We remain totally open to any request of more information or anything that we could help transparency. We think it's important. As we've said, we want to have the negotiating document being released so that rumors can be dispelled, myths as well, and that then we don't have to comment on leaks. Thank you very much.